I'd like to call the June 20th, 2016 Township Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, the prayer, and a few moments of silences. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Panos, the prayer, please.
O Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give them quiet minds and hearts that they may hear thy voice. Help them to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give them strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that they have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
As is customary in this chamber, we always stand for a moment of silence to honor the troops that are serving both home and abroad to protect our freedoms, our first responders, and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next, I'd like to offer up a moment of silence to honor those 49 individuals that were gunned down in that terrorist attack in Orlando, as well as the individuals that were wounded in that horrible terrorist attack. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Mrs. Panos, you have a moment of silence?
Yes, Council President, thank you. This week we lost a fine young man in this town. He was a good son, good brother, and a loving uncle. Louis Vassikolis had passed away quickly this weekend, and condolences to him and his family. And Louis, I hope you have your place in the sun.
Thank you. Lastly, I'd like to offer up a moment of silence for Reggie Butler. As everybody knows, Reggie Butler was a councilman in Old Bridge for 27 years. I served with Reggie for short of 9 years. While we didn't always agree on issues, Reggie was always a gentleman. He'll be sorely missed by the township's residents. He was a trusted member of this community, and he'll be sorely missed. Does anybody else want to offer some condolences for Reggie? Dr. Greenberg?
I knew Reggie Butler for more than 20 years, and it's just not knowing a person, it's being able to call them a friend. I respected Reggie, I admired him. I admired him for all the work he did in Ward 3, but also throughout the town. When I think of Reggie, I will always think of him as a fair man, a decent man, and most of all, a gentle man. We had a lot of nice times together, and he will be missed. May you rest in peace, my friend.
Anybody else? Why don't we start there, Mrs. Sohar, or work our way back?
Thank you, Bernie. Reggie was a friend of mine for many years. To me, he was a role model for what a public servant should be, someone who gives tirelessly to the community and asks for nothing in return. There wasn't a person that Reggie wouldn't help. As a councilman, he was a very wise man. If there was something on the table that was going to be beneficial to the town, and he had to reach across party lines to get it accomplished, he would. Being bipartisan is very difficult. Reggie embraced it. I think he leaves a legacy behind of love and loyalty to the community, and he had a degree of professionalism that every elected official should try and emulate. I will definitely miss Reggie. He was a wonderful man.
Walker?
I also knew Reggie for 20-something years. I first met him through the fire company. He was very supportive of the Cheesequake Volunteer Fire Company. He came to all our events, and he's definitely going to be missed. When I ran for fire commissioner back in 2006, Reggie walked door to door with me. And I remember he said, Debbie, when you win your election, that's when you start campaigning for your next election. And he was just such a gentleman. I'm going to miss sitting next to him because he was always just so kind and such a gentleman and so caring. He was so caring to all his residents. He's actually take people to the doctor visits, and people are really going to miss him, and so am I.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I knew Reggie. I got to meet him as soon as I came on the council, which was about 17 years ago. And we immediately became friends. Reggie was like a father to me. I knew him not only through the council, but also we were both commissioners on the MUA. And he would call me up and say, Rich, How about we go to lunch? I want to make sure that you know how to fill out certain reports. We had, for instance, financial disclosures and all. Always looking after me. We would go to Atlantic City for conventions associated with the MUA, and we would go out to lunch. We would go out to dinner. He really was was a good friend, and not only to me, but he was always helpful for the residents of Ward 3, and probably more than Ward 3. He would, if an individual had a problem with a financial problem, he would take money out of his own pocket to help them out, or he would direct them to a state or county service that would help them. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. And I'm going to miss him. Thank you.
Mrs. Ward?
On behalf of myself and the clerk's office, I would like to say how much Councilman Butler will be missed by all. Reggie would often stop by our office like he did in many of the other offices in town. He always had a smile for everybody, always would sit and chat. Always would say, if you ever needed me, you have my number, night or day, call. And one employee told me the other day, she didn't work for Reggie or have anything to do with the council, but she does work here in town. And she said that he always knew her name, and she never knew how. She was never introduced to him or anything, or really had a one-on-one working relationship with him. But he always made her feel like she was somebody, like she was an important person. She says she would never forget him for that. He'll be missed.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Not only for the Butler family, my sincere sympathies to them. They lost a great man. The township lost a great person, a great human being. I had the pleasure of sitting next to him for the last 2 years, hearing that he does everything for the residents, wherever they live in town, whatever he could do for them, he always was there to help. And he's going to be missed. He was like an icon for Old Bridge.
Mrs. Panos?
I too will miss Reggie. We were sat on opposite sides of the table, political table, but we did Christmas shopping together. We did, he'd come to my house and eat with my family. He was a good man, and he was a mentor to me. Sometimes I almost, and I'm not going to do it, but anybody out there who feels like doing it, Reggie would always acknowledge everybody and say, feel the love. And he'd say, Mrs. Miller, give Reggie a hand. At one point tonight, everybody, we're all going to give Reggie a hand because he did that to everybody. He appreciated everything that everybody did. So, Joe, you call for the hand for Reggie when you're done.
Mr. Miles?
No, it's ditto on everything, I didn't know him that long, but it's ditto. I understand. He's a great guy.
Can we listen? Everybody who loved Reggie in this room.
Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please be seated.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, July 11th at 7:30 p.m. Vote sheet. Vote sheet. Mr. Cahill?
Here.
Mr. Oh, she gave me the wrong vote sheets.
It's okay.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Vivian, these are the wrong vote sheets. Sorry. Look at the names. All right, we're going to be out of order. We're gonna- Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Here.
Sohar? Here. Mrs. Walker? Here. President Cahill?
Here.
8 present.
You have a quorum?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go to approval of minutes of previous meetings. There's 2 combined meeting, May 9th, 2016. Can I have a motion, please?
Move it.
Moved by Mrs. Panos,
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosencrantz. Any questions, comments, concerns on May 9th? Dr. Greenberg?
No, not May 23rd.
Okay. Any questions on May 29th? Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar. Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Abstain. Combined meeting, May 23rd, 2016. Can I have a motion, please?
7 yes, 1 abstention.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Rosencrantz. Second by Mr. Green. Dr. Greenberg?
Yes, there was a section when I was talking about COA, and I explained that when the developer pays the fee, he passes it on to the individual who buys the unit, the house or whatever. And when, my comment really was when the individual builds their own house and lives in it, I talked about double taxation, and it was their taxes get increased, and then they pay COA fees on top of it. So that was the correction for that. Thank you.
So you're looking to amend the minutes?
Yes.
Stating that? Okay.
Yes.
Any other comments on May 23rd?
I just want to comment on what Councilwoman Greenberg just said. There's certainly,
It's about the minutes, though. It's about the actual minutes, though.
yeah,
Okay, all right.
I mean, this certainly is a conflict for her.
Okay.
To discuss changing the minutes because she was involved in building a home and being forced to pay a COLA fee. And from what I understand, as far as a private individual, there's only several individuals in town who had to pay the COLA fee. I don't agree with it, but I think it certainly looks like a conflict of interest to me when Councilwoman Greenberg brings this up.
Well, I would like to add to this, it's not a conflict of interest. I did pay it, it's done, it's over. I just don't want other people to pay it. And it's something that you, Mr. Cahill, and Ms. Panos voted against. So that's why I brought it up to your attention, so you could work on it.
Are we doing minutes?
Any other
And
comments?
I have no problem.
Any other comments on the May 23rd minutes? Okay, roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Panos.
Abstain.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Sohar. Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes. Okay.
7 yes, 1 abstention.
Thank you. Moving on to the bill list, Mr. Rosencrantz?
Certainly. Bill list, combined meeting, June 20th today. Accounts payable, June 20th, 2016, $10,484,022.06.
Have a motion, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Green.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Panos. Any questions from the council? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg. Yes. Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar. Yes. Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll, May 27th, 2016, $837,952.25.
Have a motion, please.
Move it.
By
Second.
Mr. Rosencrantz, second by Mr. Green. Any questions on this from council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg. Yes. Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Cahill.
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll overtime, May 27th, 2016, $44,445.50.
Have a motion, please.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Green,
Second.
second by Mrs. Panos. Mr. Marion, can we have a breakdown, please?
Sure, Council President, as indicated by Mr. Rosencrantz, the payroll closing date of May 27, 2016, overtime amount $44,445.50. As indicated in your packets in the detailed breakdown, you're going to see an uptick in public works. You're going to see an uptick in the subcode and code enforcement because it's the season and we're still trying to fill some positions. If you go to the police department, for the pay period ending 5/27/16, represents a total of 545.0 man and woman hours for a total amount of $32,705.21. Sworn overtime, sworn officer overtime for that period, $29,664.20. If you deduct grants in the amount of $1,445.80, and earned time off, which is contractual, in the amount of $5,620.83, total payroll overtime, $22,597.57. We do have 3 patrol officers currently out on medical, and this pay period was for in-service, Attorney General's mandated in-service training, which includes domestic violence, use of force, in-car video, and other types of topics.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll, June 10th, 2016, $856,552.88.
Have a motion, please. Move it. Moved by Mr. Green,
Second.
second by Mr. Rosencrantz. Any questions? Seeing, hearing none, roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Yes. Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Lastly, payroll overtime, June 10th, 2016, $29,442.89.
Have a motion, please. I'll move it. Moved by Mr. Green,
Second.
second by Mrs. Panos. Mr. Marion?
Thank you, Council President. The payroll ending June 10, 2016, as indicated by Mr. Rosencrantz, total amount $29,442.89. As indicated in your packets, again, an uptick in subcode official, in overtime, an uptick in public works. In regards to the police department, for the pay period ending 6/10/2016, represents 342 man and woman hours for a total amount of $21,023.79. And underneath that category, if you take sworn officer overtime in the amount of $20,042.61, you minus grants in the amount of $369.30, and earned time off, again, contractual payout, $8,431.53. You have $11,241.78 for that pay period, and we do still have 3 patrol officers out on medical.
Any questions, Mr. Marion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
That concludes the bill list.
Rosencrantz. Moving on to public hearings and ordinances for second reading. H1, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, GS Realty, Biondi Avenue, application number 34-09P, block 2000.25, lot 22.11. Ms. Shapiro, and I see we have esteemed attorney. Mr. Halbern, how are you?
President, members of council, Jonathan Halbron, appearing on behalf of GS Realty.
Nicole, do you want to start? Nicole, do you want to start?
Yes. This is for a minor subdivision with 3 new single-family homes that was basically developed at the end of Biondi Avenue. The improvements that were bonded was the extension of Biondi Avenue, curbing, landscaping items along that roadway. Engineering department did review those bonded items, found them satisfactorily to be done, and we recommend release basically of the bonds, subject to the applicant posting a 2-year maintenance bond and confirmation from our finance office that the bond is available for release.
Is this acceptable to the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Council President.
I'll go to the public first, and I'll go to the council. Anybody from the public want to be heard on H1? I'll close the public portion. Council, any questions, comments for this particular application? Seeing, hearing none? Roll call, please.
I need a,
Oh, we need a motion?
Motion.
I'm sorry. Need a motion, please?
I'll move it.
Mr. Rosencrantz moved. I'll
Second.
second. By Councilman Cahill. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Yes. Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you and good evening. Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, and we have 4 liquor licenses with conditions. The first one is H2, plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-035-007, Chi-Chi 35 Corp., also known as Diamond Girls. There's conditions on the resolution. Good evening. Just state your name for the record, please.
James J. Adonisio from the law firm of Rudnick, Adonisio, Papp, and Kazazia, appearing on behalf of the license holder. Certainly content with the conditions and the extension of the license for 1 year.
Does anybody on the council have any questions about the conditions? And everything's in order, I assume?
Everything's in order.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Green,
Second.
second by Mr. Mollis. Roll call, please.
Completely.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank-
H3, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-004-002, Sideline Lounge, also known as Club 516, and its conditions. Do we have the applicant here? I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
So we're not gonna, we want to table it, or?
That's up to you.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think
his
we-
conditions remain the same, but
Well-
if you want him here,
It's the council's
has to come back.
decision, but we've always, I'll just speak for
Right.
myself, we've always
right.
asked the owner to be here to
Right.
verify they're in
Mhm.
compliance and they agree to the conditions.
Yeah.
I'd like
Okay.
to table it.
Table?
Motion
Okay.
to table? Have a second on the motion to
Second.
table? Second by Mrs. Panos. This is on a motion to table H3.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes to table.
H4, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-019-007, Sarthy Corp., also known as Town Square Wine and Liquor and Bar. Anybody here from? Yes. Great.
Last name Kiria, first name is Bharat. Live at 7 Sassafras Court, North Brunswick. And the conditions for the cameras, we agree.
You're the owner?
Yeah.
Okay, so you will comply with the conditions?
Yeah, we have the cameras since 2002, but
Gotcha.
they're-
Okay. Any questions for the owner?
Where is Town Square?
Where is your establishment located?
345C Mattapan Road. It's right off where the Walgreens is. There is a CVS right across.
Oh, right, okay.
On 516?
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's called Town Square Mall. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Any questions for the gentleman? Do I have a motion?
I need a motion.
I need a motion, please.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Rosencrantz,
second.
second by Mr. Green. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
H5, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-036-008, Varish Incorporated, also known as Old Bridge Bar and Liquors. Come forward, just state your name, please, and address.
Yeah, my name Dilip Patel. Address 34, 34 Route 34, 24B, Route 34, South Amboy.
Any problems with the conditions? You accept the
ev-
conditions?
Everything okay?
Any questions for the gentleman? I need a motion, please.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Panos. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8
Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to ordinances for second reading. We're actually going to open this up to the public, but we're going to carry it until July 11th if anybody came from the public, so we'll continue it, but I'll read it. Ordinance number 1, it's 2016-12, amending Chapter 363 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Property Abandoned by amending various sections of same. My understanding that the attorney has a little bit more work to do on this particular item. So we'll open it up to the public. Anybody from the public wants to be heard, and we'll continue it to July 11th. Anybody in the public want to be heard on this particular item? Okay. It will remain open for the next meeting. Okay, moving on to preliminary public comments to council, subject to the following conditions and restrictions. 1, during the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the township council on one subject for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the township clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinances or any other matter for which comment or a public hearing is to occur at this meeting.
Mr. Cahill, could I say something? A couple came in as soon as the meeting started. Now, we used to allow the people to sign up until the public comment portion.
5 minutes. 5 minutes after the start of the meeting.
They were here. This couple right here, they were. They sat down, they wanted to sign up, but they were trying to get your attention, but you were talking, so I just wanted to make.
The rule is 5 minutes,
Yes.
but if you guys want to talk, that's fine.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael Kelly?
Good evening, council members. My name is Michael Kelly. I'm 25 Columbus Avenue. The issues that I have this evening, Mr. Mullis, by the way, it's nice to put in a name with a face. We have a trucking company on the end of my block. I've been there 10 years. During that time, we've increased the number of children in our neighborhood in that block radius from 8 to roughly 24, 25 kids. These trucks breeze in and out through this neighborhood, through this street, and it's not just small trucks, vans. They're large 18-wheelers. They're going through second, third. The other day, one Sunday, someone was going through in fourth gear. I literally ran out in the street and told him to slow down. There's no reason for this. I've dealt with Councilman Mullis on numerous occasions, and it's gotten to the point now where I can't deal with it anymore. There are too many kids in that neighborhood. There are too many lives at risk. When I come down that street, I do at least the bare minimum 10, 15 miles an hour. There's no reason for a truck that takes twice as long, 3 times long to stop to go as 10 times faster than I do. And I'm appealing to you, ladies and gentlemen, to let's look into this further. I know the trucking company pays a great deal of taxes. Barrett Tree Service is in that area too. They're also an issue. They pay a great deal of taxes, and I get that, but I'm putting my children first. I'm putting the children in my neighborhood first. I have a child who's 8, I have a child who's 5. House behind me has children ranging from 6 to 15. House next to me has a 4-year-old. My neighbor, Mr. Sims, has grandchildren that come in the neighborhood on a regular basis. And it's just gotten to the point now where I don't know what more to do. I've heard that there was going to be a police officer in an unmarked car. I don't know what came of that. I also question it because anybody in their right mind knows what an unmarked car looks like. They turn that corner, they see somebody in a Charger, they're going to slow down. They're going to slow down for that time frame while that police officer is there. That police officer's gone, they're doing the same thing all over again. And again, for the benefit of my children and all the children in the neighborhood, I would like something to be researched, something to be looked at, something to be investigated, so that my children's lives aren't at risk. Thank you.
Marion, if you could please.
Sure, actually, Mr.
Put it
Kelly.
up to police.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kelly, for coming up tonight. I will discuss this with the Traffic Safety Division tomorrow, and we'll have somebody follow up directly with you. If you can give me your name and contact information, I'll be happy to. But I'll deal with you directly myself, too.
Just to let you, ladies and gentlemen, know, this has been
Mr. Kelly, up to the mic so people, yeah, please.
Yeah, so
Sorry about that, Council President.
Just to let you know, February of 2015, I was disabled. I ruptured both of my quadricep muscles. During that time, this is when I discovered all of these things going on. I have the benefit of working 1 day a week from home and when I'm on vacation, and I continuously see it. So they have my number. I've come down here. I've spoken to the police, So I'll be more than happy to give it to you afterwards or during a
Sure.
break. But
We'll be in contact. I have your name and address here, sir, and I can get it from PD. But somebody will follow up with you. Thank you.
thank you, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
Larry Sims.
Good evening. My name is Larry Sims, 20 Columbus Avenue. I've been a resident of Old Bridge all my life. This issue about the trucks is really nothing new. It's a new company that's moved in where Mosaic used to be. Their drivers are not from the area like the old drivers used to be, and they're showing no sorts of respect for the people. And then it's summertime, the kids are out of school and everything. It's getting dangerous. We need a bigger police presence. I pass them all the time going up County Road straight through instead of cutting down Beyond or Gordon where we need them. It's getting summer, drugs, drinking, and the park is right in the middle of the town, and that's where the kids like to hang out. But we have been fortunate this year. It's been a better group of kids coming there using the park for what it's made for. And the thing about the Barrett Tree Company, if you would get someone to ride through there, they're dumping. Right in front of the gate and everything, the tree bark and stuff that they can't get rid of, they're dumping it right out in front of the streets. And EPA has cleanup signs there, but they're bringing in gravel and stuff from somewhere, dumping it back there. So do we know anything about why that's been done?
All right, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Sims. I am aware of that particular problem in regards to the, I guess, the alleged dumping back there. I could talk offline about it, but I had spoken to our police department. Mr. Mollis had contacted me regarding some complaints he was receiving. So I can get a full update to you guys tomorrow and be happy to speak with the police department. But we did investigate and indicate that there was nothing improper going on there in terms of that dumping materials, especially from where that, is it Route 35, the bridge? So I can follow up. We did follow up on those specific complaints. I'm not from the OBPD, I'm town administration.
I
but-
understand.
But we can certainly follow up with you, and I'll get some more information. In particular, I'm concerned about the traffic, especially as a dad of two small kids myself. You want to make sure that the neighborhood is safe and people can walk safely there, so.
Well, when it all started, you know, it was fine. Like I said, we got a whole new crew of new drivers and everything, and
Yeah.
it's just a thing called lack of respect. I believe they drive faster there to get in the cars to get home than they do on the highway. And we don't want to be here about someone being killed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Mr. President, if I may,
Yes, Mr. Mal, Ms. Mal, let's wait till council comments
Okay.
and hear from the public, okay?
fine.
Thank you.
Jim Riley, Princeton Road.
Hi, Jim.
Sorry to bring this up again, but Princeton Road is a problem with the speeding. Something has been done since November, and it's worse. Now we're getting tractor trailers coming through. I know that we got the gas lines coming in and all that, but tractor trailers shouldn't be on Princeton Road. Okay? Like they were saying, we got kids. I'm disabled. I tried to go across the street. I almost get hit a couple times. Something has to be done more than just once or twice. We need to do more, and we need more traffic safety officers out there than the few we have. You know? That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marion, is Princeton Road on your list as well?
Thank you.
I'll put that right on there with Mr. Riley's complaints I recall from last time he was here, so we'll follow up.
That's it.
Okay, I'll close
Thank you,
the,
Mr. Riley.
I'll close the public portion. We'll go to Councilmember, would you like to say something?
Just wanted to reiterate what Jim said.
Oh, sure.
Karen Porter, Princeton Road, and I just wanted to repeat, I mean, it's terrible out there. And just a thought, if you put on more policemen and pay the overtime, the amount of tickets that you could give out would pay for it and then some. I mean, just, there are so many people who go flying up that road, it's ridiculous. It's a cut-through road. So, that's all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Councilmember comments. I know, Mr. Mollis, you wanted to address an issue?
Yes, Mr. President, if I may, I've been in touch with Mr. Kelly many times on the phone and so forth. I've been in touch with Sergeant Gant in charge of traffic and safety. They had 2 of our traffic and safety guys go out there and speak to both supervisors at the trucking companies, Barrett Trees, and also the trucking company there in the corner down at the end of the street. And they assured me that, you know, they warned them that they've got to slow down. Barrett told me that they have a rule in their shop, you can't drive over 15 miles an hour, you get fired. And at the time I spoke to them, before I went away on vacation, they did fire a gentleman for going over 15 miles an hour on the street. The best I can say is what we're doing is turn it over to let Mr. Marion handle it now and see what he could do. But they assured me after when I went on vacation that they were going to put up the traffic board there that tells you how fast you're going and how fast the speed limit is. But at the time, it wasn't working properly, so they were going to do some repairs on it. So I can only assume, bad word, that, you know, it's being worked on and it'll be out there across from Mr. Kelly's house. That's all I have to say, sir.
Thank you. Any other council member comments? Mr. Green?
I just want to throw this out for information purposes. With the unfortunate passing of Councilman Butler, there's a process in order to find a replacement for him on the council. And I believe that the process starts when the seat is vacated, which would have been the 7th of June. So I believe that the Democrat Party has to submit 3 names for the actual council members to select one. Now, from what I understand, the Democrats have 15 days to submit that list to the council, which would be, I believe it's Wednesday, the 22nd?
The 22nd.
Okay, Wednesday. Then at that point, the council has, I believe, 15 days to act. Now, we don't have a council member meeting scheduled at all, so I just want to throw this out for us to consider it. Now, I'd also like the attorney to look at this, and this probably has to do with the bylaws of the Democrat Party or the bylaws of the Republican Party. When they vote or select the 3 members that they want to submit to the council, I'd like to know whether, and again, this could be their bylaws, and it's probably none of our business, who participates in the selection of those 3 candidates that will be sent to the council for approval. Is it only the county committee members from Ward 3, or is it the entire body of the county committee? So that's, what?
The municipal committee of that party.
The whole committee?
The municipal committee, yes, of the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Selects the 3 nominations.
Okay. The question is, what happens if we don't have a meeting within the 15-day period that I think we have? I think that the Democrat Party will, in turn, select their own person, and that gives the council members an opportunity to make the selection.
They have to provide it within 15 days, and then the council has within 15 days to select one of those. If the council does not select one of those, then the Democratic Party gets to appoint their nominee.
Okay, so I know we're meeting next week for next
HOA
Monday
meeting.
for an HOA meeting. Maybe we should have a special election at that time, so we have an opportunity to make a decision.
Well, you wouldn't have an election, you mean a special meeting.
A special meeting, yes.
Right. I discussed that with the clerk early on when this occurred. We met to go over the procedures, and that was a suggestion, knowing that you had that meeting, that if those names are provided within that 15 days, that you would have to hold it.
Yeah, I think it's only proper that.
Next one's July 11th.
July 11th, right? Which would be
Pardon me?
outside the wood.
Your next council meeting scheduled July 11th would be
Yeah,
that
that would be
time.
Past.
Correct.
Yeah. So I definitely would like to have an opportunity to discuss the selection, choose one of the three, and then perhaps we should just schedule a special meeting next Monday at the same time that we were all gonna, should be, probably, all will be here for the HOA meeting.
I can call you tomorrow, set up a time, and then advertise it. 'Cause we
Okay.
have a
The
time-
meeting will only
We
take
we
10
have a
minutes, I
time for
think,
the- For the
but, so.
homeowners, but we have to have a special
Yeah,
time
so,
for that.
so the homeowners meeting, I believe, is at
6:30.
6:30. And how long do we think that's gonna go, Mr. Marion, do we know? It's kind of a loaded question, I guess. An hour and a half at least. And is the meeting here?
Yes.
In the council chambers?
Yes.
We weren't going to be televised, but we were going to sit down here and be able to present on the outstanding questions for homeowners associations.
Would anybody, I'm just throwing this out and don't scream and yell, would anybody have any heartburn about doing it at 8:30? Just to give that HOA meeting enough time to kind of work itself out? I get the impression it might be a long meeting depending on the content. I'm just throwing it out.
It'll only take us 5 minutes,
Do you want to do it before?
I think, to do it, so it could be before or after. I mean,
I'm open to suggestions from the council, so whatever.
why don't we have it before?
Time's the HOA.
6:30. Any suggestions down that side over there?
What are you trying to do at 8:30?
No, it was a suggestion. The suggestion was that we'd have, if we're gonna have a special meeting, we have it next Monday. So we have an HOA meeting at 6:30, which will probably go to at least 8 o'clock. So I was trying to figure out which side of the meeting, if we have a special meeting, would be more suitable to people.
I think you're pushing it very quickly. I mean,
Well,
I just think it's
but the issue
ridiculous.
is we have to do it we have to do it within 15 days, so we're running out of time, I guess. So is there another date that would be?
I would like to speak. I'd rather just mourn right
Time
now.
out, Mr. Green, are you done with your comments?
No, I just like, I don't, it's a matter of timing. And the bottom line with me is, I would like the council to have the ability to take a look at the three names and make a decision instead of, I think it's our obligation, instead of letting it go beyond the 15 days, because our next meeting is scheduled, I think, for July, right? And we're not rushing at anything. We're just looking at the process and trying to make a decision. Do we or don't we want to actually participate in the selection? And I think we should. I mean, if anybody's holding this up, it's the Democrat Party, in all due respect, because they're waiting to the last minute to submit to us the three names for us to consider. We could have done it perhaps tonight if they had given us the three names the other day or recently. All I want is for us to have an opportunity to review the candidates and try make a decision on our own instead of passing up the opportunity.
And also, please keep in mind, we're not the only ones that use this courtroom. There's court at night also. So we are going to be here on Monday. So Monday would be a good time to have it, if we can settle in on a time.
I think Monday works. You know, it's only going to be 5 or 10 minutes, and the easiest thing to do is have a special meeting scheduled either before the HOA meeting or following the HOA meeting. I don't think it's any inconvenience to anybody. I just think it's the right thing to do.
I'd just like to make a comment. At this time, I prefer to mourn Reggie Butler. There are politics and there are procedures, and I'm not even thinking of them now. And I think it's wrong, and because of the circumstance today was Reggie's funeral. I don't prefer to talk about this now, and I think it's totally out of place. And I think you have to have respect for Reggie and the party which he was a part of, the Democrat Party. Whether you like it or not, you can wait to hear from them. This is terrible.
Any other comments?
Yes.
Mrs. Connell?
Listen, the law is the law, and this is not being cold. The people of Ward 3 deserve some sort of representation. That's why they have laws. I loved Reggie just as much as anybody else. You know, I don't show the pictures his sister gave me last night and all this stuff. I'm sad, but we have a process in this country, and it's called voting and elections. It's nothing, you know, we have to leave sometimes on this dais, we actually have to leave our personal feelings outside that door. And, you know, that's a fact of being a leader in the community and being an elected official. Everybody deserves representation. So we're all sad up here. Don't fool anybody, but we have a process here, and I say we have to go with the process. The process is Monday. I make a motion, we have a special meeting on Monday. Stop with the dramatics and get the job done. That's what we were elected for. All right?
Can you hold your motion until we get done with council comments and come back to
I
it?
just
if you
make-
wanna
all
make
right.
it? Okay. Any other council comments?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about something in town. I'd like,
Oh, can we stick on
this?
this issue for a
Fine.
second, and we'll go back? Okay. Any other comments on this particular issue?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
While I know the loss of Reggie Butler hits all of us, it is a state statute, it is the law. Like it or not, I guess we're up here to follow the law, and that's what we have to do at this point, and we could still mourn him.
Ms. Panos, I interrupted your motion. I wanted to make sure
I
everybody had
make
a
a
comment.
motion
so-
that we have the special election before the HOA at 6 o'clock, and we follow the law of the land.
Motion to have a special meeting at 6 o'clock on the 27th.
I'll second that, sir.
That's too early. That's too early for people at work.
In a second.
Who seconded it?
Well, they have their 5 votes, it doesn't matter.
Dr. Greenberg?
Oh, time out.
Hold on. Can we do it at 8:30?
Time out.
Would
Mrs. Walker,
8:30 be better?
There is a process, okay? So there's a motion and a second, and we vote.
Can we do it at 8:30?
So, that's why, time out. That's why I was asking the question about what times would be better. I was trying to accommodate everybody. And when I said 8:30, you kind of scoffed and said, 8:30, what are you trying to do at 8:30? Okay, so I was just trying to be amenable and accommodating to people based on work schedules.
Oh, so then, you know what? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. You want to come up with another time?
The HOA meeting starts at 6:30. The HOA meeting starts at 6:30. Are you planning on attending the HOA meeting? Yes. Okay. Could we make an amendment to the motion to say the meeting starts at 6:15? Would that be amenable?
I don't know, is there any suggestions from that?
That's what I'm trying to make a suggestion here. Is 6:15 too early? I mean, could you get there at 6:15? We're gonna have a meeting at 6:30 anyways.
Or maybe
Trying
after.
to be,
Why don't,
Yes. Make it after. Do they ever,
Let's
would they
make it
prefer it
after.
I'm asking, is that?
after?
Okay, I make a motion, we make it
Okay,
after.
so we're gonna rescind the motion. Mrs. Panos,
I rescind my motion, I make a motion that we make it after the HOA.
what time? 8 o'clock?
Sounds like a plan. 8
8
o'clock.
o'clock amenable to everybody? 8 o'clock. There's a motion for 8 o'clock after the HOA meeting. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Got a motion and a second for 8 o'clock on the 27th, special meeting. Vote, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Mr. Green? Yes. Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Yes. Mrs. Walker? President Gale?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 abstention.
Dr. Greenberg, you want to make another comment? Yes, that's why I went back to you.
Sure, thank you. I'd like to get an update from the Open Space Committee, from Ms. Panos and Mr. Rosencrantz, who serve on that board. If they could give me some updates, what's been going on with the Open Space Committee?
The chairman has not called a meeting in quite some time. There's no update.
Thank you.
Any other comments from council? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the council comments portion. We have a report of the township clerk.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes. Okay. For the month of May 2016, raffles, dogs and cats, liquor license, parking permits, solicitors, and miscellaneous fees, total of $39,748. For the month of June 2016, raffle, dogs and cats, vending, liquor license, parking permits, solicitors, and miscellaneous fees, $52,389.57. for a grand total of $92,137.57.
I have a motion to accept the clerk's report, please. I'll move it. Moved by Mr. Green. I have a second, please. I'll second. Any questions about the clerk's report? Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg. Yes. Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Mollis.
Yes.
Mrs. Panos.
What days?
Mr. Rosencrantz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar. Mrs. Walker. Yes. President Cahill.
Yes.
7 yes.
We have a report of the township attorney.
None.
On tonight. The administrative report, Mr. Marion.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The administrative report for June 20th, 2016. Item number 1, the NJDEP Superstorm Sandy Blue Acres team began extending buyout offers to homeowners in Old Bridge in April of 2015. A total of 29 buyout offers have been extended to date. 24 out of the 29 offers have been accepted. You have hard copies of the June 13th, 2016 NJDEP Old Bridge Buyout Status Summary Report have been forwarded to you for review. I also, in that report, it talks about the fact that we are moving forward at some point in the near future with the demolitions of those homes that have been ceded over to the township and to the state. Item number 2, on December 14, 2015, the township awarded a contract in the amount of $278,141 to Vision Construction Group, Inc. of Edison, New Jersey, for the Texas Road resurfacing project. The contractor mobilized and began work on May 2nd, 2016. To date, the contractors completed the installation of ADA accessible curb ramps, resurfacing, and striping. The replacement of the beam guide rail on the east side of the bridge between Old Bridge and Monroe Township will be completed by the June 30th, 2016 completion date. Item number 3, Fernandez Construction, Inc. mobilized and began work on the 2015 annual curb replacement program on May 2nd, 2016. To date, the contractor has completed curbing and related work on Adelphi Court, Balsam Court, Cressida Drive, and Press Mill Road. The contractor is scheduled to perform curbing and related work on Onondaga Street, Sally Court, and Tuscarora Circle, which is actually this week, weather permitting. The bid opening for the 2016 annual curb replacement program is scheduled for June 28th, 2016 at 10 a.m. right here in the Municipal Administration Building. Item 4, on June 2nd, 2016, the township received 14 bids for the 2016 annual road resurfacing program. A resolution awarding a contract in the amount of $1,104,600.15 to MECO, Inc. of Clarksburg, New Jersey, is included on your consent agenda this evening. Out of the 14 bids received, that is the low bid, and we've also included on your dais for council is an updated list of the roads under the 2016 annual road resurfacing contract. Item 5, on June 14th, the township received 8 bids for the 2016 CDBG road reconstruction project. The bids ranged in price from $182,638.54 to $232,805.29. A resolution awarding a contract for the project will be included on the consent agenda on July 11th at the council meeting. Construction is tentatively scheduled to begin in August. Item number 6, on June 14th, the township received a draft copy of our 2015 municipal audit from Holman, Frania, and Allison. We had our exit conference today, and that will be going to council for review with Mr. Allison, I believe on August 8th, at the August 8th council meeting. Item 7, on June 22nd, Williams Transco will be holding an informational open house from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Senior Center. Transco representatives will be available to answer questions from residents and other interested parties regarding the proposed system enhancement project that the company will be submitting to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission for review and approval, I believe, later this year. Hard copies on the May 27, 2016 letter from Transco's senior land representative to potentially affected landowners have been forwarded to the Township Clerk's office for distribution to council. Also, we'll have those files and plans and proposals on file in the Clerk's office and administration for council should you want to see them. Item number 8 is a reminder the week of June 27th has been declared National Mosquito Control Awareness Week by the American Mosquito Control Association to educate the general public about the significance of mosquitoes in their daily lives and to highlight the important service provided by the mosquito control workers throughout New Jersey and the United States. The Middlesex County Mosquito Extermination Commission urges all residents to take a proactive approach to controlling mosquitoes in their respective communities and guarding against bites throughout the year. For additional information on the Middlesex County Mosquito Extermination Commission or to report a mosquito problem, residents should contact the Commission 732-549-0665. Given all the news that you're probably reading about Zika and the different types of issues that are popping up all over the United States. Is a lot of information that has been handed out to council to share with your constituents. We're also going to be posting some health updates from Middlesex County Health Department and the commission up on the website. Item number 9, the Middlesex County Food Organization and Outreach Distribution Services, or MC Foods, of the Middlesex County Food Bank and a network of more than 100 food pantries, soup kitchens, and social service agencies will once again be participating in the USDA Summer Food Service Program, which ensures the low-income children will continue to receive nutritious meals when school is not in session. For additional information, residents should contact the USDA Summer Food Service Program, 609-292-4498, or visit the USDA Food and Nutrition website at fns.usda.gov. Links will also be posted on the town website. Item 10, the Old Bridge Food Bank will still be collecting items during summer months. Collection bins are located in our Municipal Administration Building, Old Bridge Public Library, Recreation Building, Civic Center, and Senior Center. For additional information on the food bank or a list of needed items, residents can contact the Old Bridge Food Bank, 732-721-5600, extension 6625. Item 11, as a reminder, on July 4th, all municipal offices will be closed for business in observance of the 4th of July holiday. And as to put on your calendars in the next couple of weeks, July 17th, the Township, in conjunction with the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, will be hosting a Middlesex County Household Hazardous Waste Drop-Off Day, and that'll be from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Township Department of Public Works, located right here in the municipal complex. This service is for county residents only, and proof of residency will be required to participate. And for additional information on household hazardous waste drop-off days, residents can contact the Middlesex County Solid Waste Management or our Public Works Department right here in Old Bridge.
Thank you, Mary. Any questions, Ms. Mary, about the report? Have a motion to accept the report.
Move it.
Second.
Second by Mr. Miles.
Wise guy.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
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 Thank you, Mr. President.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Panos. Before we go to the public, any separations from council?
Can I separate seat 10 and 11?
Seat 10.
Move it.
Second.
Panos, second by Mr. Miles. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoller? Yes. Mrs. Walker? Yes. President King?
Yes. Mr. Rosencrantz, C10.
Sure, thank you. Just a point of information on these two items that have no amount on them, and when I opened it, it had a list of items on it. Would it be correct to assume, I guess, that what we're approving is we're going to purchase these items as needed for that amount?
Mr. President, or Mr. Vice President, the two contracts is for the public at home, awarding contract 2016-46, recreation supplies and games to BSN Sports, and item C11, awarding contract 2016-55, recreational supplies and games to SNS Worldwide as a primary and school specialty secondary. These are for the general programs and supplies and games that happen throughout the course of the year. What we did, just because we had that same question earlier, regarding the contract with BSN Sports, the total spend for 2015, $4,681.21. And for recreational supplies and games, SNS Worldwide Primary and School Specialty Secondary, total amount $52,320.93 was the total spend for 2015. So it's programs and supplies for all the campers. I think we have a total of a lot of recreational campers. Mr. I'll recognize Mr. Badcock.
You understand we've got over 2,000 kids that participate in Camp Robin, the full-day daycare program and the half-day summer playground program. We try to keep as many of the old games and toys as we can, but we have to replace them as we go. This happens every year. This is nothing new.
That's good, thank you.
That satisfied 11 as well. Dr. Greenberg, C10 and 11?
Same thing.
So no more questions?
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Any other questions about C10, C11? Can we take them as a package, move them as a package, C10, 11?
Yes, please.
Motion? C10,
I'll make a
11?
motion to move C10 and C11.
Second, please.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Panos. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay, discussion ordinances. D01, ordinance establishing authorization for third-party payroll disbursements.
Thank you. Council President, I'd like to recognize our Chief Financial Officer, Director of Finance, Mr. Himanshu Shah, to describe this ordinance proposed.
This is basically allowing our payroll service provider companies to pay statutory deductions on behalf of the township to the federal and state agency, the state tax, the federal tax. It is one of the requirements that state has added, and we have not been able to get this ordinance in place. We tried back in 2005, and somehow it was not done. So, but it's just a procedural issue. It does not authorize any additional expenses.
Questions for Mr. Shah?
I think as part of the review, Council President, as council knows, we looked at best practices and operational things, so this was something that did pop up on the radar. I think it wasn't, the ordinance would have been in place in 2005, you said, Mr. Shah? In this case, though, this would be fully compliant with whatever we need to be in terms of third-party bill, or third-party billing, third-party payroll disbursement.
Are you looking for this to be moved up tonight?
That would be marvelous, sir.
Put up, someone make a motion, move it to first reading?
I'll make a motion to first.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
To go to first reading, roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
D02, ordinance establishing the provisions of Subtitle 1 of the Title 39 with various traffic regulations applicable to Block 222, lots 11 and 12, the Township of Old Bridge, Islamic Center of Old Bridge, and requesting the use of said roadways, streets, driveways, and parking lots by motor vehicles. Mr. Mary?
I believe this item was put on for, let me see, we're on the subtitle, it's Title 39 with various traffic regulations. I believe this is a letter submitted by an attorney. I'll have to turn to Ms. Ward, the letter that was submitted by an attorney regarding this particular property, which is the Islamic Center.
Supposed to appear to discuss it.
I don't see
They
Mr.
never
Hal,
called
Mr.
back.
Halburn, I don't see Mr. Halburn here.
They never called back.
He was here earlier.
We don't have to table it to discussion on, so we'll just hold it.
It was raised by them. I reached out to the attorney, Peter Klauser, as did the clerk on several occasions, no response, so.
I think we would hold off and we look to have this on July 11th,
I'll call them again and
Absolutely.
contact them.
Okay.
unless we want to discuss.
The owner of 516 is here. With the council's pleasure, can we go back to the liquor license for
H3,
H3? Can you come forward, sir, please?
Sideline Lounge.
This is, just for the public's edification, we tabled this because you weren't here. You have to be here to accept the conditions, so I'll reread it again. This is renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-004-02 Sideline Lounge, also known as Club 516. Are you agreeable to the conditions?
Yes,
set
I am.
forth? You are? Okay.
Yes.
Any questions for the gentleman? We did originally table. Can I have a motion to move this, please?
I make a motion.
Mr. Rosencrantz makes a motion.
Second, Mr.
Second by Mr. Mollis. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos? Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, public comments on any subject matter? Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
David Merwin, Summerfield Avenue, Lawrence Harbor. I was here several weeks ago speaking to you about the apartment situation in the town. And Ms. Sohar so candidly pointed out that I, as a member of the planning board, had voted on the the Intervision building down here where there was about 16 apartments on top of it. And she's quite correct. I and the mayor both voted for that project. But that brings me to the point, unless you want to see more of those apartments and over stores with vacant stores underneath and apartments up top, you may want to reinvestigate the town center ordinance. Because the town center ordinance, the gut of it has been cut out. So why we still have it? The gut is cut out because that property across the street, the apple orchards, is no longer going to be developed. It's going to remain open space. So you don't have the town center concept. So the council may want to think about doing away with this town center ordinance, or we'll have those projects all along 516.
Anybody else from the public want to be heard on any subject matter? I will close the public portion. We're going to go to liquor licenses. We have LL1 through LL32. Anybody from the council have any abstentions?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Abstention, LL29, LL30, and LL31.
Okay, any other abstentions from council? Okay, anybody from the public want to be heard on any liquor licenses? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the liquor licenses LL1 through LL32 with the exception of 29, 30, and 31?
Move it.
Moved by Mrs. Panos.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mollis. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Yes. Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Can we move 30, 29, 30, and 31 as a package for Mr. Green's abstention?
Sure.
Roll call, please. A motion, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Rosencrantz.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Panos. This is for 29, 30, and 31. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Abstain.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 abstention.
Moving on to council member comments. Any comments on this Monday night? Not seen it. Close the council member comments. Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Panos, second by Mr. Mollis. Roll call, please.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mollis?
Yes.
Mrs. Panos?
Yes.
Mr. Rosencrantz?
Yes.
Mrs. Sohar? Yes. Mrs. Walker? Yes. President Cahill?
Yes.
8 yes.
Good night, everybody.